I'm surrounded by very large cows and I absolutely do not trust them whatsoever. A little bit scared, I must admit. Anyway, so I'm not really out on a photography trip, so to speak, this week. I'm actually on a little bit of a holiday in North Wales and I'm here for about 3 or 4 days, so I'm going to try and get out with my camera a couple of times. Where I'm staying is in North Wales on the Clen Peninsula, which is honestly somewhere that I've always wanted to come to do photography anyway, so it's kind of like a win-win for me, you know. Bit of chill out time and also get stuck into some landscape photography as well. So this is my first day here, but I'm gonna head down to the coast now, just because I'm feeling up to it. The weather has been absolutely horrendous here in Wales today. I'm talking like 40-50 mile an hour wind gusts, real heavy rain. The sea has been crazy, really choppy, and yeah, although I've said the weather's been horrendous, I think that's something that might work really well for me with my photography, especially being on the coast as well, because like I said, some of them waves have been incredible, so I'm already thinking long exposure photography. So I'm going to head off down now. I've got a nice location in mind. My sat nav is saying 4 minutes to drive down there, and then I've got a little bit of a walk to get down to the little cove that I'm headed to. So let's crack on.
But you don't seem to forget about yourself. Wondering how it could go so wrong, but you didn't call for help.
Oh, so I think I should probably apologise in advance if I have any sound issues in this week's video, because it is still massively windy. It's absolutely blowing a gale out here today, so I will try my best. I think it's quite unfortunate because the wind's coming in this direction off the sea from the coast, and obviously by the time we get down there, that's probably going to be the direction that I want to be shooting in, so I'll try my best. Anyway, I think what I kind of wanted this video to be about, really, or at least what I wanted it to touch upon, was that typically bad weather conditions to most people doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad weather conditions to us as landscape photographers. And in fact, if anything, it's pretty much the opposite, because this is right. I was thinking this a couple of minutes ago on the walk down here. When you watch the news at night, when you're eating your tea, 6 o'clock, whatever, and then the weather forecaster comes on. As landscape photographers, anything that weather forecaster is getting, a bit upset about, it's going to be misty the next morning, it's going to be windy, rainy. To us that's good. We want the opposite of what the weather forecaster is getting excited about. We don't want sun in the sky, harsh like blue skies, no wind and a calm sea. That's not what we want. We want the opposite. And yeah, I think what I'm trying to get at really is, typically bad weather conditions aren't bad for us as landscape photographers. These 50 mile an hour winds that we're getting here now are creating these beautiful waves out here on the sea that's crashing into all them islands. And it's crashing into the cliffs on the Clen Peninsula here, and of course for us that's going to be challenging to photograph, and for me it's going to be bloody challenging to video it, but this is why I've decided to come out here today in these blustery conditions, because for us as landscape photographers this sort of thing is fantastic. So don't let typically bad weather forecasts get you down and stop you from going out with your camera, most importantly. Now this is really interesting. This is actually a location, never been to it before. I found it in my wild guide book, which I mentioned about a month ago when I was actually in North Wales, and it tells me that there's a hidden valley here where there's a public footpath you've got to walk down, and you eventually get down to this sort of little cove here. I'll put the name of it up on here so you guys can find it if you want to come down here, but it's looking fantastic already, so I'm really excited to get down there. So that's it, nothing left to say. Horrendous conditions for most of the country, but for us as landscape photographers, this is top drawer, so let's crack on. Right, I don't know if you can hear me here, but it's a bit too windy. Even though I've just said, you know what, these are fantastic conditions for landscape photography. Let's get down to the beach. This is too much. Actually, it's bordering on a bit dangerous as well. If you look around me, it's craggy. Yeah, I'm on the edge of a cliff pretty much, and you know the wind's blowing back that way. But I'm all over the gaff. Like the legs are unstable. It's just not worth it. I'm going to head back up this cliff, which is pretty much where I came from, and it's gorgeous here. It really is. So I really want to stay. You can see the waves, the swell off that sea is just absolutely beautiful, and I am desperate to play around with some shutter speeds and get my camera on its tripod, but it's not going to happen here at all. It's just going to be an absolute disaster. It's going to be a nightmare. So I'm going to head back up that cliff, like I say, and just try my best to find perhaps an area of shelter or something like that where I can get my camera on its tripod. So there goes nothing. How's that sound? I can't find any shelter. It's a little bit better here than when I last spoke to you. It is still pretty grim. This wind is coming in pretty fast, but you can look at that view behind me. I'm not going anywhere, so I'm just going to stick it out. I'll try and talk this. I'll try and talk this all through with you guys the best that I can. Again, apologies with this sound. I hope that it's okay for you. That view is too much to give up, and it looks like we're getting a nice bit of colour in the sky there as well. Sunsets are in about 20 or 25 minutes in a bit of a different direction, but I'm just kind of hoping that some of them clouds over there keep that sort of orange tint that you can probably see behind me as well, just to add a little bit of interest up there. But I'm going to try my best. Oh my goodness. So I hope you guys can hear me. Let me just face away from the wind a bit more. As you can see, the old camera's not on the tripod. It's not happening. Honestly, it's just an absolute lost cause. There's no point. As soon as that camera goes, I've got a mint tripod, really expensive. Camera's heavy. It doesn't matter because these 50-mile-an-hour winds shaking it all over the place. So there's just no point in using it. So either I can go home or just try something different. I'm just doing a bit of handheld shooting. I'm actually doing a little bit of ICM, which is intentional camera movement photography, which I've never ever done before. I've seen some really cool photographs on Instagram. Please go over and check out a guy called Owen Clark. I really like his ICM photographs. He does a lot on the coast, so I'd probably give my inspiration to him. Cheers, Owen. But yeah, basically guys, all it is having a, as far as I know, this isn't something I've researched, let me get that clear. As far as I know, have a fairly long shutter speed, so I'm shooting at about half a second, and literally all I'm doing is I've got the live view on. This is how sort of trial and error-y it is. I don't even really have to face the scene. Hang on a sec, I just need to get my focus again because my camera's been on the deck. That's not looking bad. I suppose in this instance your focus doesn't have to be perfect because you are deliberately blurring the photograph basically, and when you see the photograph in a minute or so, it'll all make sense if it doesn't now. Basically, handheld, I think you can do this on a tripod as well, as long as you're physically moving your camera body. So I'll do that. Then you just gotta get it roughly. That looks pretty cool actually. Bearing in mind that's I've had 5 or 6 shots before I spoke to you guys and they didn't come out that good. Basically, you've got to line up your composition just like you would do if you were shooting on your tripod. You know, capture what you want to capture, and then I'm on 1/3 of a second actually at the minute, f8 ISO 100, Jesus Christ, which is basically just to give me the correct exposure. White balance is on cloudy, we've got a bit of an orange tint in that sky as well, nice blue sea, didn't like that one I know already. And to be honest, I'm still trying to get the rule of thirds here. I want that horizon line on the top third of my whole composition, of my whole image. And as I take the photograph, to be honest, I don't even have to move my camera that much because as I'm holding it, the wind's blowing it all over the place. All I'm trying to do, to be honest, is just move it from left to right ever so slightly, and yeah, some of them are looking pretty cool, to be honest. God knows what I'm going to shoot next, if anything at all, but I will show you one, maybe two of them photographs. I've probably taken about 20 or 30 overall, so there's going to be, I just want to get a couple more actually. There's going to be a lot to choose from when I get home on Lightroom, so I'll stick that one up for you guys to see now. If you've even heard any of this, by the way, I really hope that you like it. Something a bit different. So I hope you guys like that photograph, or those photographs, whatever it is I showed you. And I feel a bit stupid, I think. I've banged on throughout this whole video about how these are the sort of conditions that you want for landscape photography, and I struggled to shoot up there. But looking out into the sea there, I really hope that you guys can see what I meant, you know, like even though the conditions were bad on the face of things, they were creating real beautiful conditions for us as landscape photographers. It was just glorious, and if I could have just found a little bit of shelter, you know, from this wind, I would have been able to have made something a lot better of that. I think, although, you know, I haven't seen these photographs yet, I shouldn't speak too soon, I might think they're awesome. So I've got a little bit of an announcement actually, and I've left this till the end of the video deliberately, because I kind of think the people that care about this the most, this announcement, are the people that, you know, watch my videos right to the end, or, you know, watch my videos week in, week out, like my videos, comment, follow me on Instagram, all that sort of stuff. People that support me a lot, basically. But aside from that, if you're still watching this, don't feel left out. This is aimed at everyone. I'm going to be releasing my calendar, and I'm so excited. I'm going to be releasing it as pre-orders within the next month, I think, on my website. And I've made this decision, you know, if you've watched me from the start of the year of 2009, you'll remember that I said my project is going to be, I want to spend 2019 creating my calendar. But then of course I couldn't sell that calendar for 2020, could I? Because then I'd still be taking photographs in December, and it would have given people about 3 days to buy the calendar or something, whatever. That was never the plan. The plan originally was to sell it in 2021. It's too far away. I'm so excited to sell my calendar. And look, I got back from New Zealand in July of last year, of 2018, okay? Which means that I took loads of photographs between then and January, when I announced that I was going to release my calendar. All of those photographs were accompanied by these YouTube videos, by vlogs, which was also another challenge that I set myself. So I feel comfortable in releasing this calendar with some images from last year as well, which you guys have followed me on those adventures of capturing those very photographs that are going to be in the calendar, even though they were a little earlier, before the whole idea came about. It would mean the world to me for you guys to buy this calendar. You know, I'm really going to try and put the fairest price possible on it for myself, to make a little bit of money, to put back into this YouTube channel. Go and follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and there will be plenty of updates on the calendar there. When the pre-orders come out, I'll put it on my Instagram, and yeah, all the details that you need to know. Anyway, what a rant, what a babble. Thank you guys so much for watching. Very different one this week, and yeah, thanks again. I shall see you guys next week on the next adventure. Out.